Welcome to Variant One Shot. To bookend our month of darker themed comic book characters, we're gonna do it with none other than the pumpkin-throwing arch-enemy of Spider-Man, the Green Goblin. And if you're wondering why I sound all weird and funny, that's because I'm getting a head cold. But the show must go on. The Green Goblin has done a crap ton of evil things over the years to earn him the title of Spider-Man's arch-enemy. So let's take a look at several of those moments. Clearly, I'm not going to be able to mention every single last evil moment he's had, but I'm going to do my best to name a good amount. So let's kick this off by diving right into the deep end with the time that Goblin faked Aunt May's death in Spider-Man 400. No one was really shocked when Aunt May died, as she's always been portrayed as a super frail character. Plus, the way they did it was very heartfelt, as she woke to tell Peter that she knew he was Spider-Man all of these years. It just really pulls on the heartstrings. But not long after, it's revealed that Norman Osborn, aka Green Goblin, had kidnapped the real Aunt May and hired an actress who looked and acted like May to fake her death. Extremely messed up, right? It doesn't end there. He also attached the real Aunt May's brain to a DNA bomb, which would kill thousands of people if anyone removed it. Of course, Peter finds a way to remove it, but the point is, Goblin is willing to go to some pretty messed up lengths just to piss off Peter. But that's just the first example. We have several more to go, like the time he killed Peter and Mary Jane's baby. Yeah. This episode is headed to dark places, people. Long story short, in The Amazing Spider-Man 4:18, Mary Jane gives birth to her and Peter's child. She then asks the doctor why isn't her baby crying, and he just says, "I'm sorry, Miss Parker," suggesting she lost the baby. While all this is happening, the baby is then taken away by a mysterious nurse named Allison Mongrain. In the last page of the issue, we see that Norman Osborn hired Allison to kidnap the baby, and presumably had a hand in causing the death of Peter and MJ's baby. Holy hell, is this messed up. Goblin and the Joker would be like the best of friends, but let's move on. Now, the main and true Green Goblin will always be Norman Osborn, but the second Green Goblin, Harry Osborn, also hates Spider-Man, like a lot. And nothing proved that more than this next evil moment I'm about to talk about. As all of us Spider-Man fans know, Peter's parents died long ago, hence him being raised by Uncle Ben and Aunt May. So when his parents show up at Aunt May's door in Amazing Spider-Man 365, it was a huge shock. Despite this seeming too good to be true, Peter starts getting close to his parents, making up for lost time. It of course turns out to be a lie, and we inevitably learn in Amazing Spider-Man 389 that they are life model decoys made by the Chameleon. But it doesn't stop there, friends, there's another twist. After Spider-Man defeated Chameleon, he found a computer file that says, "Spider-Man, for your eyes only." When he opened it, a video of Harry Osborn Green Goblin pops on the screen where he tells Spidey he was the mastermind behind the reemergence of his parents, saying, "Call it a little payback for what I suffered when you killed my father. In other words, buddy, gotcha." If there's one thing we can take away from today's episode, it's that the Green Goblin really knows how to push Spidey's buttons. Now, do you all remember the Clone Saga storyline from the 90s? Most hated it, but several cool things came out of it, like the Scarlet Spider. But what also came out of it was another evil Green Goblin moment. For those of you who don't know, the Clone Saga basically gave Peter an identity crisis, which caused him to question whether he was or wasn't the real Peter Parker. This, of course, caused a whole slew of problems for both Peter's personal and hero life. Originally, the man thought to be responsible for the Clone Saga was the Jackal, but no. If there's one thing us Spider-Man fans have learned over the years, it's that if things are going extremely bad for Spider-Man, Green Goblin isn't too far behind. With that said, Green Goblin is revealed to be the real mastermind behind the Clone Saga. So not only did this event give the real Peter Parker a total mind F by making him think he was a clone, Goblin also brutally kills his actual clone, Ben Reilly, which sucks as Ben was someone Peter thought of as a brother. Now, of course, I couldn't make this list without mentioning one of the most iconic moments in all of comic book history, which also just so happens to be one of Green Goblin's most evil moments. And that's the time he threw Spider-Man's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, off a mother-freaking bridge. Every comic book fan knows about this moment, so I don't think I need to get into too much detail about it. But in summary, Green Goblin kidnaps Gwen Stacy, then drops her off a bridge, at which point Spider-Man shoots a web line out to catch her, but the sudden stop in velocity snaps her neck, as indicated by a snap caption next to her head. But did she really die from the sudden stop? Because it goes even deeper than that. Peter thought he saved her once he pulled her back up, but Green Goblin says, "Romantic idiot. She was dead before your webbing reached her. A fall from that height would kill anyone before they struck the ground." So whether you think she was dead before the webbing reached her or the sudden stop snapped her neck, this moment is just another example of all the emotional abuse Green Goblin inflicts on Spider-Man. But what you may not know is that it doesn't end there. As bad as that moment was, we later learned the reason why Goblin killed Gwen Stacy, and it might be even worse. In the Sin's past story, it's revealed that Norman Osborn seduced and got it on with Gwen Stacy while in Europe, causing her to become pregnant with twins, all while she was still dating Peter. Poor guy just can't catch a break. What makes this even more evil is that it's possible that the sex wasn't consensual. Anyway, she hid this from Peter and eventually gave birth to the twins shortly before her death and vowed she would raise them with Peter, refusing to allow Norman Osborn to have any part in their lives as she saw the way he treated his other son, Harry Osborn. So since Norman saw Gwen as a threat in keeping him away from his kids, he decided to get rid of her by throwing her off a bridge, because that's not an overreaction at all. The fact that this would also hurt Spider-Man was just an added bonus. And that, my friends, brings us full circle to Gwen Stacy's death. Now, whether you love or hate this added backstory to Gwen's death, it doesn't change the fact that this is definitely one of Green Goblin's evilest moments. But with all that said, this is just a handful of extremely evil Green Goblin moments. There's no way I can mention them all, but I think we can all agree these are some pretty messed up moments and that Green Goblin is a freaking douchebag. That dude isn't right in the head.